So hi student. So previous video already learned about the food, the enzyme, and today we are going to learn about process of absorption and transportation of digested food and defecation. So this is chapter 4 from 2. So when we want to learn about the absorption, you know absorb, right? To absorb and transported the nutrient that is being transported by our body. How the nutrient transport? Anyone know or not? What thing in your body that help to transport the nutrient? So it is your blood, correct or not? Your blood that help you to transport. And I mean, blood does not only help you to transport oxygen, because we know that blood help us to transport the oxygen, correct or not, from your lung to your heart and then to your brain and to your whole body. Then the blood also help to transport carbon dioxide away from your body, and the blood also help you to transport the digested food, means the nutrient, whether it's like vitamin, protein, or whatever thing lah. After you eat, it must be something go to your body, correct or not? And the something will be the blood. And after that, we defecation. What do you mean by defecation? So defecation is what? Defecation is berak, correct or not? Let's put poop. Let's put here poop. Correct or not? But we don't want to use the word poop, right? Like want to use the word berak in your textbook because it is not correct. Correct? We want to use a better word. We call it defecation. But the more total, I would say is berak or si. So the process of absorption, transportation, digested food, and defecation means from the mouth to the body, and then to the anus, and then it becomes the food. Let's look at this one. Observe the surface of the bath towel, photograph 3.311. What can you see? And see the thread. What's the thread? The thread is this thing lah, the line. So our stomach, how our stomach absorb the nutrient? Correct or not? Like after you eat, but the protein, the vitamin from your stomach, how it go to your brain, your hand, how it go? So basically we know that after we eat the food, after we eat, this is the mouth. This is the eye, this is the nose. After you eat, the food will go to the intestine, correct or not? So this is the intestine. Intestine. Already learned this. It's up above lah. Okay, now this one is called as intestine. This one, intestine. So the intestine, if I want to make it bigger, zoom it bigger, it will be something like this. Correct or not? This is the wall of the intestine. This is your intestine. Intestine. It's like this one ma. Then I take the intestine out, cut it is something like this. And the intestine like this, I look even to a smaller, look until very small. It is like this, like got a lot of the up, down, up, down, up, down. This is the wall of your intestine. So why it need to be like this? First, actually in our intestine, what they're trying to do is the food that you eat, when it go inside, it will dissolve out from your body to the blood stream, and your blood will carry it up, down, left, right, wherever part that is in your body. So the small intestine, the wall of the intestine is made up from a thing called villi, vilus or villi. Okay, one is singular, one is plural, but it's still the same thing. That's why you read some book, it will say vilus, sometimes it say villi. Villi, I think, is the plural one. Vilus is the singular. Now, whether you want to use wireless or villi, you still get it correct, okay? But the textbook say villi lah, so you just follow lah. Okay, the increasing the to increase, why you want to go up and down? Because it will be easier if you are just a smooth surface, correct or not? Like a pipe lah around. Why you want to go up down like this one? Can see or not? Up down, up down, up down. So who know why is it? Let me try to ask one of my students. Okay, why it need to be up and down, up and down? This is to, as according to the book, it can increase the surface area of the book. Correct or not? Let's say this is a paper. This is a paper. If I'm to fold it, I mean this is the surface area. Can see or not the surface area? Which is actually quite very little surface area if I want to absorb. Or if I can fold it like up, down, left, right. Let me try to fold it. Let's wait for a while I fold the paper. There'll be something like this. I don't know whether it makes sense to you or not, but it'll be something like this. Or not. Something like this. So it's supposed to be round, but I got no time to fold it. So that if you fold many times, it actually the surface area is quite a lot. You get what I mean? Rather than a circle which the absorption is lesser, you want to make it like fold it so that you got more surface area. You get what I mean? I hopefully you get what I mean. That's why our intestine always like fold right, up, down, left, right, zigzag. Because you got more surface area. What do you mean by surface area is, you know what's the meaning of surface area or not? Surface area is like, let me see, just in case you don't know what is surface area. Like this, the surface area is very small. Like this big is called the big surface area. But in order to get this big surface area, I want to make it smaller, I fold it. Fold it like a circle. I still get this thing with a large surface area while I fold it. Why? Why you want large surface area? Why? This is to increase the absorption. Increase the absorption, correct or not? The less surface area, the less absorption. More surface area, more absorption. So this is one of the way our body increase the absorption of the food. Of course, one of the thing is we know that. Okay, so digested food is made of tiny molecules so that it can be absorbed into our intestine. So when you eat your food, let's say this is the drumstick that you eat. Then this one will start to put acid, put the enzyme, and then it will start to absorb to your blood. This is your blood. But doesn't mean everything can be go up lah. Okay? It depends. Only the nutrient, the enzyme, or certain thing only can be absorbed by it. Okay, so we know that usually the question will ask, what are the characteristics that help the absorption, the food absorption in your body? Usually the question will ask. So 3 marks, for example. So the first mark you need to say it has a large surface area due to the villi or villus, up, down, up, down, up, down. The second one you need to say is the wall of the villus is very thin. How thin? Thin like 1 cell thick. Can you show me 1 cell thick? I show you 1 cell thick. 1 cell thick is like this. This you cannot see lah, obviously, because it's 1 cell thick. It's very thin, so you can dissolve. Correct or not? Let's say if I put many paper, then I put water, the water cannot flow because this is very thick. If I make this paper until very thin into 1 cell thick, if I say, when I put water, the water will just come down from here because it is so thin. Actually, 1 cell thick, you don't even see the paper, you will just see the person, right or not? It will be transparent. You cannot even see the the thing. It will be like a mirror actually, invincible mirror. And the third point, let's say the question asks, what are the characteristics that the intestine help in the blood, in the absorption of the nutrient? The third point that you need to say is the function of blood vessel in the small intestine is to transport the nutrient. Okay, the function of the blood vessel. It's not the function of the blood vessel, but it is the, how to say, the what is the use the word, the number of blood vessel, the increased number of blood capillary. The density of the blood capillary is a lot. The density. He didn't draw here, but if I'm to draw the blood, because some part of the body got less blood, more blood. But in terms of here, there's a lot of blood capillary. You can see here, a lot lah. So I draw a lot. The wire for the blood, a lot. More blood means easier to transport. Less blood means less thing to transport. So again, three characteristics. Your large surface area due to the vilus, and the vilus wall is very thin, and there's the a lot number of the blood vessel. Okay, until here, you got anything, any question you want to ask? No question, right? Yeah, so we can see again here, vilus is for singular, villi is for plural. Up to you lah, huh? You want to use vilus or villi. This is not a grammar class, it's a science class. Even you use it wrongly in your grammar, it's still considered correct. Stop me if you want to ask any question. So this is the vilus that you can see if the cross section. There's a lot of blood capillary. You can see here the blood capillary, and you can see the cell is only one cell thick. Yeah, the wall. If I can draw it, I'll just say one cell thick. Clear or not? You see only one cell only. Very thin. Thin until you can see through, like a glass like that. Undigested food cannot pass larger. Undigested food cannot pass by. Correct or not? The big molecule you cannot go in. Only the small one that you can go in. Like I would say the protein. Is it protein or amino acid? Protein lah, amino acid. Carbohydrate. Some of vitamin, mineral, all the very small nutrient molecule that only can pass through. The rest, of course, if you travel, go out, go until you go to the rectum there, the absorption of the water, and then it will become the what? Become the poop. Right? Then you go to toilet, then berak, then got the diet. Right? Because it cannot be absorbed, so it's just being released. The one that can take, then the body will take. Absorption and transportation of product of digestion, structure of value digestion. So this one you know. I think I hope that I don't confuse you. Again, I want to emphasize what is this. This is actually this thing. What is this thing? This thing is actually your intestine. Because I just get some people don't know why my stomach like that one. It's very small, so you see different. This thing, can see or not? Your intestine. I want to look small in your here number 5 intestine. It will be something like vilus or villi, something like this. The stomach, the hole. I want to look very small. It is like this. Why very small? 3 things. Increase surface area, very thin to increase the absorption of nutrient, and there are high density of blood capillary. But I don't know why he don't want to put the density, like just put the function of blood vessel. But a lot of blood lah. So we can see here, why does our small intestine have more blood vessel than our stomach? Why? Anyone? So yeah, the function of the stomach is not to absorption. The function of stomach is to store. And the stomach got hydrochloric acid, which to kill the microorganism. The function of the intestine is to absorb. So obviously the question asks, why does our small intestine have more blood vessels? We need to put it in words. Correct. Okay, so what you can say is the stomach is just to store the food. The function to kill the microorganism, but the function of intestine is actually for the absorption of nutrient. I mean, different part of the body you have different function. Correct or not? For example, we can see the function of our teeth is to break down the food physically, and then we got enzyme amylase to digest starch into maltose. Then we have the esophagus that help us to process peristalsis process to push down the bolus of the food. Then we have liver, we have stomach to store the food. We have intestine to absorb the nutrient of the food, and we have rectum for the storage of food, for the absorption of water, and then 8 is to control the whole of anus. Correct or not? So each part got different function. Yeah, before I forget, you need to know how to label, because sometimes the question will ask you label it. What is A, what is B, what is C? So I would say A is wireless or wily, up to you. Wily line, right? Wily. This one is lactale, already labeled. This two is blood capillary. Just remember to label in case the person asks you. Lactale absorb digested fat in the villi of the small intestine. The lactale transfer it into the lymphatic system and then to the blood circulatory system. So this one is actually absorb the fats and bloods to carry nutrient of the body. Depend on what nutrient but basically this is the thing. Okay, now we want to do experiment. Experiment like how you want to you want to show the example of intestine. I mean, how you want to do it. Can I use this paper? Actually, I can just use this paper, right? I can just use this paper and I put in water inside, and then the water come out, showing that nutrient is being released from this intestine. Maybe I don't put water. I put water and sand. Right? I put water and sand. Then the water will come out, showing that the water is the nutrient that come out, so that it will be absorbed by the blood. And then the sand is the unwanted part, unwanted thing. Then at last, make it longer. Then you get the poop like the sand. But let's look at this experiment, see how other people do it. So other people do it by using the whisking tube. What do you mean by whisking tube? One thing you want to use whisking tube because, here it didn't say. Okay, one thing you need to know, let's say this is a whisking tube. There's a special thing about whisking tube. How to draw it? Let's say I draw it lah. If I want to draw a whisking tube, and there's a small hole in the whisking tube, and we know that when we eat, we got starch, correct or not? And we got glucose. The thing is, the whisking tube, it allows the glucose to pass through, and the starch cannot, because the molecule is big. The starch molecule is big. The starch cannot pass through the whisking tube. Glucose can pass through. So they want to use whisking tube like make experiment okay. Your starch cannot pass through, will continue move on. The glucose will come out to become your blood vessel, correct or not? It will enter into your blood vessel. So glucose is a smaller molecule. Why this thing cannot come out? Because it's big. The starch molecule is big, so cannot come out. The glucose molecule is small, so it can come out. So our body is very smart, because our body still remember got enzyme. the enzyme will break the starch into glucose. Then it can come out. But the starch you cannot, then you just keep it as a starch, then it becomes food or whatever. So we want to, so the whisking tube actually is a representation of the intestine. Little bit more, just let me talk a little bit more, then I end this very fast only. Okay, so whisking tube, constant one is the temperature, time, correct or not? We don't want it to be too hot, right? If too hot, then the thing will become other thing, correct or not? For example, like the enzyme will denature. The best is temperature 37 Celsius, correct or not? Because our body temperature is 36.9. Manipulated is the whisking tube. Okay, but so there's a few experiments I want to do. I want to put, it depends on how you want to do it boiling tube and Q. Let's see what they want to put it. So the first one, they pour 10 ml of starch suspension. You know starch suspension, like I would say, like starch suspension like potato, correct or not? Bell potato got like starch. So I just take the potato, I chop. Oh, I think of potato or rice if you want to try. Actually, you can try with any food that you want. You can try with the food that you want. And then I tie it, I put in the water. And then the second experiment, I put, let's see, carry out. One is I put the starch. Another one I put glucose. Correct or not? This one I put starch. This one I put glucose. Obviously, I know that glucose can come out, starch cannot come out. Then you can see, you got to do the test. The test will show that if you test here, then you will get brick red precipitate, show that the glucose is being present in the water outside the whisking tube. And the starch, if you do, nothing will happen because the starch is still inside here. Okay, I know that you don't understand what I'm talking about. I know, okay, I know. So I'm trying to go to very slow, and I just get exam will ask this question. Let's make it easier for you. Okay, I try to break it down so that it's easier for you to understand. If I take the whisking tube, and then this is the whisking tube I put the water here. Let's say I put here iodine. The iodine won't come out because the iodine molecule is big. So I test it. How to test iodine, I use iodine test. Why I say iodine? Starch, sorry. I put starch inside. The starch won't come out. So if I test it, I will say nothing will happen, no changes, showing that no starch. Correct or not? Because no starch I test already, I put no starch. So I prove in this experiment, I can prove that starch is a big molecule. It cannot penetrate the whisking tube. Let me take my eraser and erase this. Okay, how about if I take the whisking tube, again, I do the same experiment. I put glucose. But we know glucose is very small, so the glucose will come out. Can see or not? Cannot see because my eye is not Superman, I don't know. So I need to use Benedict test. After Benedict test, I will get okay, so it will become brown, showing that there are glucose present in the water. So it's a science. Okay, I teach until here first, and I will continue with this experiment in the next video because I want to go into more detail so that you understand this. So we take a short break, and I see you back in the next video. Thank you and bye bye.